Amit Burman, the chairman of Dabur India, now joining us live right here on ET Now. Amit Burman, thank you so much for joining us. Hope you, your family are healthy and safe, and so is the entire Dabur team. If I could just begin by asking you, we're coming towards the end of this lockdown. It's going to be 3 weeks come 14th of April. There are now reports about how the government may reallow economic activity, albeit with conditions. It's going to be incumbent on industry to ensure that the workers are safe, but the government realizing that factories need to restart operations even if it's at minimum capacity. Some news better than no news. If I could take your reaction on that, because as we've seen, consumption has come to pretty much a standstill.
I think the government is doing the right things. We also have opened a couple of factories, that is Jammu and in Saibabad and Pantnagar and Baddi, with limited capacity. Production is happening for the essential items. We are now working with the government to sanitize kirana stores. We're starting with 10,000 stores to start with, going up to 2 lakh stores in India, sanitizing it, keeping social distancing in the stores also, which is going to be happening within the next week. So I think consumption will start seeing an upstage, and hopefully we're going to be back to normal in about 3 months' time.
You're expecting normalcy in 3 months' time. Amit Burman, whether we look at Dabur or your other venture, which is Light Bite, as a stalwart in the industry, you have fantastic insights when it comes to the entire demand and consumption story. Can you tell me how bad it is? You're talking about how 10,000 kirana stores may be, sanitized, the reopening of factories, but how bad is the situation?
No, it is right now fairly bad. When I say 3 months, I think what I'm trying to say is at least 40 to 50% capacity we will get in Dabur in terms of consumption. In terms of Light Bite, I think the restaurant business will take much, much longer. We have started deliveries and that is doing quite well. But people going into restaurants will probably take more than probably 6 months. So it's a long haul for us.
And at the same time, Amit Burman, what the government has come out in a circular by the Union and Home Ministry is that wages should not be cut, labor should not be let go of or unemployed or fired. We've seen a couple of states make that a diktat, not all states. Like for example, in Maharashtra, it's an advisory. Whether it is Light Bite, whether it is Dabur, industry is expected to continue to keep paying wages with income not coming in. How sustainable is that? We've seen industry saying it's not going to be sustainable. We need some kind of visibility for income to come in.
The thing is, I see, at least I believe in all my companies, the employee is our biggest asset, most valuable asset. We will continue to pay them without any cut in jobs. Sustainability, I can't say that it is. We look forward to the government to help us in doing the same. But at least my philosophy is going to be that we will definitely keep paying our workers, our employees, our frontline staff, because this is the time to help them, to help the community, because this is what we need to do to get out of this virus.
It's nice to see industry rise to the occasion and do business with a heart as well. Let's just take note of that. Amit Burman, if I could also just ask you one quick question before I have someone Light Bite. If I were to look at Dabur, and I know we don't want to talk a lot about Dabur, just one thing though, you guys have an Ayurveda line. Dabur has an Ayurveda line. There has been a new launch in the form of Tulsi drops, a sanitizer. So a crisis brings opportunities as well. I personally know so many people who never used to take neem or Tulsi are now popping those tablets hoping to boost immunity. Have you seen a surge in sales on that? How has that part of the business been?
So that's been very good. Tulsi drops, Tulsi tablets. I think Chavanprash has seen a big jump in sales. We also doing Gilroy tablets and ashwagandha, which is good for immunity. We are doing a lot of sanitizers, hand sanitizer from Jammu, which is doing we're seeing an upsurge. So yeah, that part of the business is doing well. So we keep on producing them, and hopefully we will get India out of this virus.
Okay, and now I want to talk to you about Light Bite. Amit Burman, you started Light Bite. You have so many outlets across shopping malls in the country. You also have a presence in airports. Obviously, with the lockdown, that business has taken a massive hit. We don't know what's going to be the nature of the exit of the lockdown. But suffice to say, people will obviously be fearful about returning to crowded spaces. How bad is that going to be? You've hinted that maybe we'll see normalcy in 3 months, but you also said people will start returning to restaurants. How are you looking at the F&B industry?
I think the way I'm looking at it, that it is going to take a little bit of time, but I think we'll have to, in our restaurants, if there are 100 seats, make it into 50 seats, so there's more social distancing. I think families will be happy to come in if that kind of thing is maintained. I still feel it will take a little bit of time for people to be convinced that we are sanitized. We have to do a lot within to get people to have the confidence and to come into our restaurants. I think we are doing that. We are now putting in the SOPs of how we want to open each restaurant. We have over 200 outlets. Hopefully, even the airports will start running to 30-40% capacity within a month or so. So we are getting ready for the same.
Do you want to tell us about what a challenge it perhaps has been to recalibrate business plans, take tough decisions? There is uncertainty, and that's not peculiar to India, it's around the world. And then you've not had an economic stimulus package, the kind maybe you've seen in the United States or Japan. How difficult has it been for industrialists like you, not knowing what tomorrow holds? You're responsible for so many employees, running into hundreds and thousands and all of that. How challenging has it been?
So it has been challenging, but I think the two costs in Light Bite, which I see, is the cost of employees and, of course, the rental costs. Rental costs, I think, with the help of all the malls and the landlords, as of now, during lockdown, we are not paying. But employee costs, we are paying, and I think that's coming from funding from our side. It has been challenging because the revenue is zero as such, or very minimal if you look at deliveries. But we have to sustain. Look, this is something which is unusual, never happened in my lifetime. But I think the best thing is to just keep on going, keep employees motivated, keep moving forward, because there's no looking back anymore.
So, that's very heartening to know, and I hope other industrialists and corporates are listening in. The way you're talking about employee cost, which should not be viewed how many might be doing, but you might also be in a far more comfortable position with a far healthier P&L and balance sheet. But Amit Burman, what you said about landlords and the rent cost, how has that gone on? Have you seen landlords, shopping malls, real estate developers understanding that, there is no choice, perhaps force majeure is going to indeed be invoked, that this is an event which cannot be controlled, and therefore rent would have to be deferred or a moratorium of sorts?
I think most of the landlords, at least as lockdown is there, there's no rent to be paid because we're not doing any business. Even when it opens up, we are discussing with them on a revenue share basis, not on a fixed rent, and they are happy to look at that because at least from our point of view, Light Bite point of view, we are a long-term player. So I don't think any landlord or mall owner will want us to exit, because if somebody does exit, then it probably takes the mall or the landlord another 6 months to a year to get a new one. And I'm sure they will not get a new person to come in at the same rental. So I think we all have to bear the pain together. As business comes back to normal, we'll make revenues, and I'm sure they'll get a good share of the part.
Amit Burman, the problem also happens when we see an upheaval like this. It's usually, and if you look at the past trends, it's usually followed by inflation and a fall in disposable incomes. And usually that's when the consumption sector is hurt. Your input costs go up and people's discretionary spends go down. So the next few months will obviously be challenging, but what kind of recalibration will we see by industry? For example, will it have to accept the fact that margins will have to be lower, that it will have to absorb the cost?
Yeah, we'll have to look at that. In terms of Dabur, I think we'll make small packaging, have to reduce our margins to some bit to get the consumption up. You're right, the inflation will go up and everybody will have to take a hit. In the restaurant business, I think there'll be more QSR, which should be flourishing. Fine dining, casual dining will take a little bit of a longer time to come up. But I think it's a question of time. We'll have to bear it together. But it's not that it's going to sustain. Or I think in the longer term, everything should come into normalcy. And yes, we have to cut some margins. We have to take a hit in the short term. But for the long term, it will be good for us.
Amit Burman, I'm going to make this my final question to you. Like I said, every crisis brings opportunity. We are all in lockdown. A lot of people are addicted to their smartphones, tablets, all of that, looking for ways to spend time and new avenues for entertainment. I know that you are very passionate about sports. You've dabbled in sports in the past, and you have a poker league, PSL, Poker Sports League. We've seen 2 seasons of it. Is that an opportunity for you individually as an entrepreneur? Are you looking at that at all? Have you had to recalibrate? Have you seen a surge in traffic? How's that working out?
It's really going up exponentially because people are staying home. So people are playing online poker a lot. We are just launching hashtag poker, which is 2 weeks away. That's going to be, again, online platform for people to game. There'll be a lot of content on it, free content. You can play free poker on it. Also learn how to play poker. So I think we've already seen a surge of about 20% growth on a month-on-month for poker gaming. So it is a huge opportunity right now.
That's for Amit Burman, the entrepreneur, what he's looking at when it comes to the gaming world. There's so much that is being said about online gaming these days. With that, we are out of time. Amit Burman, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us here on ET Now. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Neta.